Hey everybody, Yankee here. Today I want to take a little time and talk about militias. It seems some people think that militias have kind of faded away. In fact, the other day I was talking to a gentleman who said it's a shame that militias have walked off into obscurity in this country, that we have very few of them, and the ones we do have would not be considered true militias at all, that they're actually pretty weak and unprepared. And I had to disagree with him. I had to say, I think you're absolutely wrong. I think militias are more abundant nowadays than they've ever been, and they're definitely far more powerful than they've ever been. In fact, I think the militias today could easily subdue this entire country if the need arose. Unfortunately, though, they're not militias that we should have. They're on the wrong side. Because people have gotten so used to surrendering their freedoms and surrendering their rights of responsibility for their own protection and their own safety to the government, they've been willing to trade off their freedoms for perceived safety. They're okay with the government building the militias. And they're building them out of citizens, out of law enforcement officers, which technically are just citizens. They're not soldiers or anything. So it is a citizen militia, but unfortunately, they're working for the feds. Because the feds long ago started arming police departments, training police departments in paramilitary tactics, etc. They're footing the bill. They are supplementing their incomes and supplementing their retirements, etc. Without federal funds, none of the things people are doing nowadays with their police departments would be possible. So these people are basically federal employees. And the federal government has taken all these armed federal employees and basically turned them into citizen militias inside every state. And they're very well armed and very well trained. Because like I said, they're training them in paramilitary tactics. They are supplying them with military gear. All the while they're trying to reduce our ability to get the same things as citizens. And these people, these militias, are stationed in every city and every state. Because they have done their job very well, like I said, of turning private police departments into a standing army that already occupies the streets. They're the perfect type of militia because when they're called up, this isn't going to be a case of, Billy Bob, drops his lathe at work, or he don't drop a lathe, but he leaves his lathe, grabs his musket and runs, to war. And he trains on weekends, every other weekend, 1 week in a month, whatever. They don't do that anymore. Now they're a standing army that are always present, always armed, and always ready to go at a moment's notice. Like I said, though, the biggest problem is they're on the government side. The reason we're supposed to have citizen militias is to protect against government overreaching and abusing their power. But since, like I said, people have gotten so used to saying, just let the government protect me, or I'll just call the police, that kind of thing, over every little thing, they are okay with turning that power over to the government. They think, if things ever go bad, the police will be on our side because they're citizens. Ask them if they think they're citizens. They think they're soldiers. 2-1 these days. They think they're soldiers. They describe themselves as warriors and soldiers, and they do battle with the populace every day. You just have to watch the videos of some of the people that say they're cops online. And yes, I know that out of all the people online that say they're police officers, only about a third of them probably are or ever have been. And most of the people who are cops online don't mention it very often because they know better. It's only the ones that want to profit off that. They want to have you go, oh, he's a cop, and then start licking his boots and watch his channel. And think, oh, he must know what he's talking about. Those are the ones that are actually visible and out there. And you don't have to watch their videos long to realize they see themselves as soldiers in a war against the bad guys, the populace, the people, especially people who disobey federal laws. They'll come get you in a second. Don't think they won't enforce this unconstitutional law or that unconstitutional law. They do it every day. How many of them do you see resigning every day? How many police officers do you see resign every day because, I got orders to go enforce a red flag law. I'm not going to do that. I quit. You don't see it because they don't. They are trained from day one to see the people as the enemy. And they're more than welcome to take that job. More than happy to take that job, I should say. They're more than welcome to buy the people in power because that's what they want. They want soldiers that are worried more about their own bottom line, their own pensions, their own security, their own power and authority than they are this country or what this country stands for. So they have built these huge militias in every city, in every state. They're well trained, they're very powerful, they're well armed, and they're there. So they exist. We do have very powerful citizen militias. Just so happens all the citizens happen to be police officers, and just so happens their loyalties lie with those that pay their pensions and pay their salaries, etc., and give them all the fancy tools and allow them to abuse people's rights and even murder people and get away with it in a lot of cases. They're loyal to those people. They're loyal to their federal masters. That doesn't mean militias don't exist. It just means they've been corrupted by the government, and the people were more than happy to let the government take over. And like I said, we don't have just law enforcement anymore. We have private standing armies inside every city. And the only exception to that in law enforcement is sometimes the sheriff's department. But even that has been changing because a lot of sheriff's departments are taking federal money now. Also, a lot of places are trying to get rid of electing sheriffs. We've got that going on in some of the biggest counties in Washington right now. They're trying to make the sheriff an appointed position instead of an elected position. And why do you think that is? So that all the cops will be playing their game. That's exactly why that is. So don't come to me with like, oh, we don't have militias anymore. We have them. They're just on the wrong side. Unfortunately, the ones we have as citizens don't really meet the definition of a true militia. They're usually not trained properly. They engage in the same kind of paramilitary bullshit that the police do. More of a suppress the people type of mindset. And also, I've had experience with militias in the South, in the Midwest, and then here in the Pacific Northwest. And I'll have to say, in the South, it was basically a Klan meeting. In the Midwest, it wasn't much different. And I thought when I came to the Pacific Northwest, well, the militias here will be more open-minded, more inclusive. They're not. It was just a political organization with guns. A right-wing political organization with guns. That's what it was. It wasn't a true militia. If you were there and you weren't, at the time, a Bush fan, well, then you weren't welcome. So that's not a true citizen militia. But like I said, the government's got it covered because they've turned every police department into militias. So militias are not only alive and well in this country right now, they're stronger than they ever been. They're stronger than we ever could imagine that they would be. But unfortunately, they're loyal to the wrong side.